Ja.
Hi. Oh, bist du?
Hi.
Hi. Okay. I think we got it now. Yeah, with the live sign there. Sometimes we were cut off in the beginning, and now we know when we're really live. Hi, everyone. And so we are obviously not joined by anyone right now, time zone wise or whatever. And we are not calculating or calculating with or expecting any interaction basically here in these English live streams, because so far we didn't have any, which is a pity. So maybe it's going to change in the future, but for now, if you happen to join, feel free to ask a question. But we just had pretty much an hour of a German live stream on my German channel, and we wanted to at least share one question with you and respond to it, because I think that also some of you guys are, it will be interesting and very helpful for you guys if we respond to it here. It's going to be, not as long as a normal live stream because there are no questions. So if you want that to change, you need to hop on here, stop sleeping in your time zone and be there. No, just kidding. But, that's why it's a little bit shorter.
Yeah. So the question we would like to address which was asked in the German live stream is from a person called Wiebke. And now I have to translate on the fly.
You can do it.
Yeah. So she says, I'm currently at my normal weight again. And through the quasi recovery, she already gained good weight.
According to her.
Yes. And through your videos, she already knows that it only was the quasi recovery, not the real recovery. Mm-hmm. And she's asking when your all-in recovery starts, like referring to the videos you do, like what you ate a year ago. She would like to know when the point has come where you started to go all in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we just go one after the other.
Yeah, and maybe just to add, because the reason why she's asking is that her eating disorder voice is telling her that she can't go all in now or not yet, because in your videos you're not showing the process yet of going all in. So
exactly.
she's basically waiting for you to show this before her eating disorder allows herself to already go all in.
Yes, that's a conversation with the eating disorder right there. So maybe you leave it open because it's a lot in there. So just for explanation, I am doing these what I ate in a days in retrospective. So it happened 1 year ago, and so I already have my extreme hunger phase behind me, but you will see it in the future because I am telling the story in hindsight. And so that will be seen, like the jump into the cold water, like completely no restriction anymore, will be seen in my videos in October. But before you panic, so there were also a lot of very huge steps before, like not being vegan anymore, even allowing that, and eating like
fear foods in general.
Yeah, and also the biggest fear foods, but like sporadically for special occasions, and then maybe sometimes more, sometimes less, then panicking, but then regaining strength again, trying it again, and kind of this. The reason I do this and don't show you the extreme hunger phase right away now, which I could do theoretically, is because the idea behind it from the beginning was that these, I think do you say rare or rare? rear up or raw, you can also say raw ups of the eating disorder are essential for you to understand the way why recovery is the only way, because that is what made me learn there is no way around it. I'm just delaying it into the future. If I have to get to that point anyway at some point, so I may as well just do it now. And that point was in October, but there's a whole lot happening before. So don't feel like, oh, nothing's happening until October. That's not the case at all.
So you had these cycles, like those waves of times where you ate a lot more, but then you freaked out, basically.
Yeah, because I thought I get addicted. These foods have so much power about me. I eat so much more.
Then I went back into your safe harbor of eating like your safe foods only. And and you realized by the time of October, which you will then see, that those waves, those cycles you went through can only be overcome by going all in.
Yes, because you can gain weight on any type of food, like seriously. There are some vegans who make it seem like you can't, but you can. If you go for it, you can do it. You just have to be committed. And so you can also gain weight on healthy food. And that's what I basically did in the videos that you see now on my channel. I was in that phase of quasi recovery. But I was in the process of gaining weight, slowly but steadily, but just horrified of doing it any other way, and just eating enough calories. And I thought that's about it. I just have to do that long enough, and then the fears will be gone. And I just had to come to the realization that no fear is going anywhere as long as I don't face the fear and do the opposite of that fear. I have to teach my brain by my actions that there's no reason to be afraid of these things. And so that's also already happening very much before I completely ate without any restriction in terms of amount, time, type of food. And no, I think that's it. I don't know, maybe I forgot one, but yes.
But how do you like face the fear? Like, because it must feel like you're hurting yourself. Like everyone is afraid of touching like a hot stove. So you won't just stand there and put your hand on it because you know it's going to hurt.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's basically exactly why I did not dare to face the fear before October. I mean, the videos you see now of what I ate, I was already theoretically knowing this cannot go on anymore. This has to stop. Like, is this it? I don't want this to be it. But the fear of weight gain and of calories and of the foods that I was so afraid of was so big that I felt frozen to just try it. I theoretically already immersed myself into all of the Tabitha Farrar content and stuff. But it just seemed so reckless and too extreme and radical for me. I was just too entrenched in the lies of the eating disorder still that, if you do this, then you will have other problems and you will get this and this disease. And also at this time, what you see now in my videos, I had the finger problem with the swelling up and the itching. And this was the justification that the eating disorder used to just say, hold on, we're not continuing. Something is off. We have to fix this first. And of course, we do this by eliminating types of foods. And it cannot possibly have to do with eating too little or so. And it's... In short, I think it's so important for me to show it in the chronological order how it went, because otherwise it will be very, very confusing. And if you want to know how, in principle, such a day in extreme hunger looked like for me, then you can watch the video from the recent days. It's called,
I can tell you how it's called.
something like One Real Recovery,
It
1 day
is
of full recovery eating.
It is called
Chips.
It's called this. Boom. Real full day of recovery eating and self-diagnosing. It's
Perfect.
hard to read from like when it's mirrored. Yeah, that's the video.
it. This is I'm talking about a post there, and show you this post of someone who I think puts out really great content, Gains with Serena, and this is basically what my day of extreme hunger looked like in general as well. So let's go on in the question.
Okay, which part?
Yeah, next one.
Wait, next one.
Like this.
Yeah, so she says like her eating disorder is not allowing her to start.
No, we're here still.
No.
Like the talk about the weight.
But this is not a question.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's really relevant.
Okay. I don't know what your point is now.
So she says she already gained very much. And I just want to say, according to whom? And it's according to your eating disorder. And maybe according to the society and beauty standards and yada, yada, yada. And I just want to remind you that your view of your body and your body image is distorted. Your perception is off. And so, okay. Okay, next one. She literally says, my fucking eating disorder is trying to tell me and lying to me that I can only go all in once you have started in your videos. Okay, so I'm telling you to tell your fucking eating disorder to fuck off. No, to tell her, first of all, that I already went through the extreme hunger phase. There's no reason to wait. Like, I'm literally far beyond reach. So it's not like you have to wait for me. It's like just some ridiculous lie that your eating disorder uses to make you think, well, you have to wait. It's really ridiculous. But I can understand it, because I was the same exactly like 1 year ago. I was just basically always looking for the sign or the reason why I can now go more radical, and just, sometimes they don't ever come. So what do you do then? Are you going to just leave it to destiny, and if it never comes, then you will never recover? Of course not. And recovery is all about, you will have to do things that you're not ready to do yet, that you are super afraid of to do. And in the end, I will tell you something that I needed to hear back then. It sounds too simple, but that's how it is. I don't care how afraid you are. You just have to do it. And I also didn't want it to be true. I was like, no, it's not that easy. You cannot just do it. But yes, you can just do it, and do it anyway. You can feel all the fear, feel all the horrible emotions and do it anyway. And that's also how I started with the baby steps that you see in my videos now, where I did not eat an apple for a snack, but chocolate, even if it was still vegan, but it's still better than no step at all. And I was scarily, like horribly scared, but I did it anyway. And so that's only a little baby step. Then in the real recovery, it was like doing all of this 24/7 as if it was my job. And breakfast was basically the whole table. What was on the table was all for me because I couldn't decide, and I just had it everything at once.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it's really important to make space in your personal life for this step, so to really focus on it, and like all other things which might distract you or steal time and energy from you of doing this big step in your life. Whenever possible, get rid of those distractions. I know, like for many people, like your job, you can't just cancel it, you depend on it. But everything else which you can.
But even then, just ask yourself, do you really have to? Yes, it's a privilege. We have to say that, it's a privilege if you can do that. But if you do have this privilege, don't let your eating disorder tell you, well, this is a privilege. You're not supposed to be allowed to do that. So other people also have to go to work.
True.
It's like, no, you take the privilege. And if you want to recover, you do everything in your power so that this will happen. I'm just wondering where I wanted to. Yeah, I was talking about that. I just waited for this. Well, this is a reason why I can go one step further. That really big thing never came from the outside. It was just one sum of frustration and feeling like, okay, I'm gaining weight, but mentally nothing happens. I have to get this going. And when we were in vacation, actually, I think that's something I can recommend. You just go somewhere completely else. You're not in your routine.
Not meeting any people,
Yeah. No, like also not in everyday life, in your home where you're always with your eating disorder. It's just everything, the every day is the same thing. And
just in German, we would say a complete change of wallpaper.
Yes. And then there it hit me. It was like, if I don't change anything, nothing will ever change. Why would it after 18 years of hoping for it to change by itself? And I knew it has to be radical and extreme. Nothing else helped so far. Gaining weight itself and eating more calories itself doesn't help. It's still a prison. Like I'm still dying mentally. And so it just dawned on me, if I just keep going like this and don't go radical all in, I will just be a grandma who has not lived the dreams that she actually had in her heart. And she will never know what it would be like if she had dared to go all in. And so I was like, it just has to happen today. Like, why would I wait another day? It's not going to come. The day that I feel ready is never going to come.
So basically, it was a fear of missing out then?
Yes, but a very healthy fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Fear of no, maybe fear of not having lived would describe it better.
Yeah, that's probably a deeper fear or more
meaningful.
Yeah, meaningful fear because it's about your life, like the whole sense of life.
It's basically so that what your eating disorder says is in the I don't know the real terms now by heart, but it's in the part of the brain and pituitary where the survival mechanisms sit. And so that's why it always feels so true and so urgent and so right and so just no way around it and obsessive. and your real self is kind of it's dominated by this, but you will have moments where your real self is coming through, maybe just for a little bit. And that fear that I felt there was not an eating disorder fear, but a fear of my real self, which triggered a healthy jumping into the all-in recovery. Because I knew this, if I just wait another day and for another special sign, then tomorrow is just going to be the same again, and it's just going to continue. And I just wanted to make use of that, not being at home, not having to work, just going for it. I have 2 weeks now, I'm just gonna go for it. And I just keep my eyes on these days now and don't think of the whole future and waking, what will people think? And I just am in the now, just going to make it happen. And I just, yeah, I think I said everything I wanted to say. Is there anything else to the question? We actually got a question here in the live stream, which...
No, it's a comment.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
You can also ask, because we never got a question here, I think, in the English live streams. I think the ED will grab at any excuse it can. Real recovery is scary, but you just have to do it. Right. You're right, it sounds simple, but it's not. We were thinking the same. Yes, exactly. I can recommend all of Tabitha Farrar's books. I translate them into German now, which obviously for you is not a big help, but they exist in English anyway. And so she does an excellent job in explaining why these fears feel so irrationally high, and how, why it makes sense that they are there, but why they are not serving you. They are eating disorder driven and meant to help you survive, which they also did when you were still living in the nature or if you were really migrating, but you're not migrating now, and food is plenty all of the time, and the off switch for anorexia is not happening because you're still in this artificial famine and it's not stopping. And that's just in a nutshell. Yes. Did we answer the whole question here?
I think
so. She wants to, wonders if she has to wait until my videos come around, until they are uploaded in October with the extreme hunger. And the short and simple answer is, of course not. You do that now. Are you willing to lose another half year of your life? It's also not going to happen that then, let's say, just theoretically, even if you waited until then, and then everything is fine because she's doing it as well, so now I can start. It's not going to make it any better, because what I ate there is in no way, shape, or form any measure for how it should look for you. It does not matter if it's 5, 10, or 15 or 20,000 calories. I also, of course, will not, because I also don't know, because I didn't count there how many calories that exactly was, but just, the eating disorder brain knows roughly how much it is in comparison to what you usually ate before. But the thing is, it's just the only real recovery you can have is only going to happen by you eating exactly what your mental hunger drives you to do. That is what I did. For some, that is so much. For others, that's like, what? That's only so much. It's like it literally doesn't matter.
And I think it's crucial to act after your own cravings, because only that will really trigger the rewiring process in your brain.
Yes, exactly. Just imitating what I or anyone else does will do shit for the rewiring part. And that is what you really want to get done. Not only the gaining weight. Yes, it's part of the recovery, gaining weight, but you want both to happen. And you only can do that by your mental hunger terms.
And the rewiring...
It's like an eating disorder rule. If you say, okay, I'm going to eat exactly what Miri is eating here. I'm going to find in my country a similar product. Then I'm going to go out every day and buy exactly these products and eat exactly the amounts. And it's like, that's not recovery at all.
Yeah, this will help for gaining weight. Probably it will.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But the real goal is the rewiring part, because that will heal you from your thought patterns and so on.
Yes, and to also just be completely free. What you're doing then would be just completely living by rules again. That's exactly the real recovery is when you have no rules anymore around anything. The only rule is that you have no restrictions. And I also want to say that that you can never compare anyone's restriction history with anyone else's. Only your body knows what is to be repaired and what not. And of course, there will be a difference between if someone, only had 400 calories per day for years and someone who had still, 2,000 calories a day, like it was in my case, for example, but still heavily under eating and underweight for my body, not according to the BMI chart at all, but for my body. And so it's just the judgment, it has to go. And you have a lot of judgment. I'm saying you, but this question asker has a lot of judgment, which is coming from the eating disorder. I get it, around if they are allowed to do this now or not. And if you are thinking of food, that's your sign that you should start now and that you're allowed to do this. Don't wait for anyone to upload a video. It doesn't make any sense.
So there's a question: what do you think ultimately allowed you to go all in, or do you think it was a cluster of things?
There were a lot of steps before, which I will definitely share also throughout the year until then. But I had like an epiphany or revelation, if you want, then in that holiday that we were talking about. Did I talk about it already here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's basically
in October.
Yeah, in October. That's basically what I just realized. I'm going to not have lived if I don't go all in now, because I had waited for far too many days where I felt the urge to go all in, but just was too afraid and panicked and didn't do it. I had so many days up until this point that I knew this is just not going to be any different if I don't get over myself and just do it. I mean, I had heard these words from Tabitha Farrar and Becky Friesen and other recovery coaches 1,000 times until then. Just do it. And the will was always there, but it just didn't happen because the fear was so high. And I always had my reasons, but these were all eating disorder driven reasons. And then in that holiday, I was just so touched by the real Miri, the zest, the want and the will for life, the desire for living happily, free of thoughts around food and anxieties and money spending disorders and all of that stuff that I knew. Yeah, as I said already, nothing changes if nothing changes. And I just saw myself as an old little grandma being utterly bitter and sad about looking back on her life and wondering how it would have been or could have been if she had dared to go all in. And I just knew there's not going to be another day that's going to be more epic and more exciting and more, it's for me to go all in finally as a big sign. I just knew it really is just about doing it.
And I think I remember that in the couple of days before you had this revelation, we were talking about it already.
Yeah,
and
from morning to night.
and I think, if I remember correctly, I said that I don't want to continue like this anymore. Like, as we said before, like the ups and downs, the phases where you ate more and then the fear kicked in again, then you ate less again, and this constantly changing behavior, like ups and downs. And I said, I don't want to continue like this anymore. Something must happen. And this was not a
not egoistic or
not
something.
egoistic, and I wasn't accusing you or like blaming you.
No.
I just,
you didn't want to see me suffer.
yeah. And I think this also maybe triggered your,
it was very healing for me,
the urge, to really do something.
Yes, because it kind of broke my heart in a really loving way for myself also. Because your voice, of course, is not only like a voice from the outside, but also, but it's also your voice, and it spoke like it felt for me. It's like somebody says about me, you do not deserve this. I don't want this to continue anymore. This is not the life that you deserve and that you're meant to live. And when you're in an eating disorder and you're just being bumped with all of this harshness and all of this, you're not worth it, you're not sick enough, you are blah, 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 blah. And this is enough life for you, you can just live like this and it's not as bad as everyone thinks or whatever, or how you make it to be. You're not underweight, all of these things. And it just broke my heart, because it helped me to see how it really was, the truth, that this is suffering that I was going through. It's not a life. And it just supported my real voice, my real self, in pursuing the life that is there for me if I just grab it and if I get rid of the eating disorder and all of the fears. Also, let's be honest, also, I just wanted to eat. I just wanted to, once in my life, enjoy what everyone else is enjoying. It's like, I just wanted to be careless and free. And I knew that somewhere deep down in my heart, that's also what I am authentically. It's just the eating disorder that's covering it. And nothing else has worked before. And so that pretty much was the only thing that I knew of that I had not tried to get free from everything. And it just made so much sense for me theoretically. But I also had this very huge fear. And then I just said, I want to be able to say I have tried. Even if it will not work for me, if all of the fears that I have are right, even if the eating disorder is right, I want to be able to say, at least I've tried. And well, the fears were not right. That's all fucking lies. Yeah. Thank you for your answer. Tabitha is good. Yes, but I can understand everyone hears who resonates with them. I had disordered eating for about 5 years and I did recovery 5 years ago. It wasn't easy, but I did it. Now someone I care about with an ED is hospitalized and I don't know how to help. I just spontaneously think maybe you just give them a book of Tabitha Farrar, like the manual she kind of has, the Rehabilitate, Rewire, Recover. Because it's just a completely new, additional food first approach, which is most of the times different from the ones that are conventionally done. Yeah. You can never make anyone recover. The person
but
has...
it's really hard if like you know somebody, maybe it's not only a person you know, but it's like a family member or a good friend, and see them like being trapped in this eating disorder, and you can't really help them. It's this must be really hard. Yeah.
Totally. And I'm just trying to think, what would I do? I would really, I think, talk to them. If I have a close relationship to them, talk to them. Like if they ask for my help because they know that I've been through something similar, I would take the chance and just talk about this approach, the migration theory approach, because it's something that's not usually talked about. And I just think I would feel the need to make sure they know about that this thing exists. Yeah. Because maybe it helps them to be in a hospital and everything. Like there are people that are being helped by this, but there's also far too many people who this conventional treatment does not help. And so, yeah, I just would do my share in this and let them know about it, and let them know that I am there to talk anytime about it. I would educate myself on this. I mean, I don't know if you have recovered by Tabitha Farrar's approach. And I mean, it's not her approach. Also, it's, the Sharon Geisinger, psychologist Sharon Geisinger, published this theory first, also before, about the migration theory behind anorexia. She also has a website. I would just kind of share resources, and then, yeah, just be there.
Yeah, she or he, I don't know, just says they both were doing recovery together, but she relapsed and is now hospitalized.
Wow, that's hard. How was it for you? Was it a hot minute, hard for you not to relapse, or were you stable enough? Did it impact you in any way? If you want, you can share. What do you think made her relapse? Okay, wow. I'm so glad. Yeah, it's so cool to see. It
works.
Yeah, it just fascinates me so much, because that's also why I do the work here in Germany, to make her content more known and her books, because that it's just life-changing. People who think there's no hope for them, I thought this is my life forever. I can't do anything about it. But you can. You can change it all around 180 degrees. A relapse in the first 6 months because she relapsed?
And I think in general...
So that was a question, sorry. Was it...
A relapse can happen anytime, I'd say. Just the fact that you are recovered does not mean that you cannot have a relapse anymore, because it's like a constant thing. The eating disorder can always creep back in.
I would say no. Okay. I would say once you're truly fully recovered,
okay,
you are no more prone than any normal person that never had any eating disorder, any restrictive eating disorder before, to relapse. Why? Because the energy deficit is not existent anymore. There's no reason for you to not eat enough.
Okay, but then you have to make sure that there's no energy deficit coming up anymore.
Yes, exactly.
And there might be there are multiple
if
reasons.
you're fully recovered, you will have developed all of the necessary mechanisms to make sure, in terms of stress and anything, you are going to eat enough. It's a different thing, of course, if there's going to be a real famine. If you know the natural catastrophes or whatever. But let's just assume that hopefully that won't be the case, and it's a privilege if it doesn't happen. I know. But just, that's also when a person with no eating disorder background would have a problem to actually get anorexia.
Yeah.
But I think, as long as you're not fully recovered, of course, yes, there's the risk. But do you get it? I find that very fascinating, actually.
I do get it, yeah.
Because I also thought you will always have to watch out for it and always be wary and look out for your eating disorder not coming back. It's basically going to be the content of your whole life until the end of your life. But it just makes sense. Once you are completely free of all of the fears, there's no reason you would be prone to falling back. And that is basically, also to answer your question, your very first question, also answering your question, what made me go all in? Because I thought, well, that is worth to recover for. If that is my outlook on life, heck yes, I'm going to take that risk, because that's something I always heard the opposite in eating disorder treatment, that you just have to live with it. That's just, and you can relapse anytime. You have no control about it whatsoever. And I would like to know what you answered with no. I hope you answered no to my question, if you relapsed because your friend relapsed. Okay, you write it. I think my relapse was because people around me made fun of the weight. Yes, and I caved. Then I said, nope, I need this. I need to do this. And that's when I really went all in. Identify so much with this. It's also, for me, it was, and also sometimes is very hard for me. I have lost all of the fears of, I all foods. But I would say I would not say I'm fully recovered, because I'm still working on even though I already gained weight, I'm still working on it to just be completely gone and eradicated out of my life. And I just think it's just going to take as long as it takes. But that's just, my heart goes out to you. Remember, it's not the people that are the problem. It's the system that they are put in and that they are living in. And they are victims as well of all of this, of all of the propaganda, what we should look like. And you should not live your life in a way that makes you dead alive just because everyone else is living that way. That's something that helped me also. She's aware of Tabitha. I believe she has her book. I bought her every book I could, and she knows her stuff, but I'm not sure why she has chosen to relapse. It will happen. I've been where you are now. You're going to get there. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I know it's only a matter of time. Yes. It has a lot to do with also honesty to yourself. I mean, it's very easy to say, oh, well, I'm fully recovered now, and so I'm just going, you get complacent and you say, well, I'm not going to have to eat fear foods anymore, because now I'm fully recovered. I can do whatever I want. So I think the best thing to go about it is to not assume that you are fully recovered. Just assume that you are not fully recovered, and just be on the safe side, and just do things just because you can, in the proper recovery all-in way. Yes. Okay. I think you have to go, right? Do you?
I think it's, as you said, it's just a matter of time, and I think it's just a matter of time that our laptop will die, because the battery warning also popped up now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a quite long one today, but a good one. And yeah, we just hope that the other people watching this live stream back later on will also find it very helpful.
I just want to say, so your name is Z or Z, I don't know how you would pronounce it. I just want to thank you for basically making this live stream today. And I would be very, very delighted to see you next week again, because we actually never had that in the live stream. We only spoke in monologues. So I'm very excited to have some interaction here in the English live stream. We have a very nice, vivid German live stream, but not in the English one. So I'm really
you made our
happy
day
about that. Yeah, you really made our day. I just want to read the last sentences. Actually, you helped me a lot through my recovery. That's why I do it. Thank you so much for letting me know. Thank you both for your time. Thank you for being here as well.
You're welcome.
Mondays are our live stream days. We hope it will just also grow, because it's just so much time investment. So make sure you're there next time. That would be great.
All right then.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
And see you next time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.